going over everything I pack for a 2-day, 1-night backpacking trip in the spring through fall, so not including winter, and how I pack it all into this bag. I'm Madison, and this is Kiro. We're making it our mission to explore the backcountry while balancing my 9 to 5. No matter the weather, we'll be outside doing the things that make us feel alive. Investing in the right gear for your application is so important so that we can save money in the long run, but also keep items out of the landfill. So the bag I use is the Gregory Jade 63 liters. A lot of this gear is meant to be used in the warmer months, but I also wanted it to work in the colder months. So in the winter, I carry a lot more bulkier gear. So I sized up on my pack and got a little bit of a larger one at 63 liters so that I could use it throughout the entire year. If you're also new to backpacking, I suggest getting a larger size like this because you may not have the most ultralight compact gear and you'll be able to fit more as compared to a smaller bag, maybe a 40 or a 50 liter. I use a 2-liter water reservoir. I may suggest buying a 3-liter, and this goes in first because water is usually the heaviest and you want the most weight right behind your spine, closest to the back in the middle. That works with your center of gravity, and it also will help prevent shoulder pain and distribute the weight properly. So the next thing that goes at the very bottom is your sleeping bag. I have the Marmot down bag that is rated to 0 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 18 Celsius. If you live somewhere in a warmer climate, you won't need something this warm, but I wanted it to work for car camping in the winter as well as trying out winter camping, and I didn't want to buy 2 sleeping bags, so I just get a little bit warm in the summer. I lay on top of it if I have to, or I unzip it and use it as a quilt. But because it's so big, most people will put their sleeping bag loose at the bottom in a waterproof bag, but I have to use a waterproof compression sack. So now that that's in the bottom, we want to try and squish anything that's really light. So something like my extra pair of socks at night. I wear the same socks that I hiked in. I'll wear those hiking out, but I always have a dry pair of socks to sleep in so that your feet stay warm. I just want to quickly go over what I will be wearing so it makes sense the clothes that I pack. A pair of hiking pants. I usually choose lightweight hiking pants instead of shorts because the area I hike in has a lot of bugs and mosquitoes. I wear a tank top that doubles as a sports bra, and I usually always wear a sun shirt that's long sleeve. It helps so that you don't have to keep reapplying sunscreen on your shoulders and your arms, and it also keeps the bugs away. And of course, some type of merino wool socks, just not cotton. None of my clothes are cotton because when you sweat, it doesn't dry easily, and then that can cause you to get cold. Even in the mountains in the summer, temperatures can drop out of nowhere. You want to avoid materials that aren't going to dry quickly. I sleep in a clean pair of leggings. Depending on what the forecast is going to be, they might either be thin leggings or thermal. So I bring this base layer top that's insulated. If it does get colder, I'll have this, and I can also sleep in it. Depending on what the forecast looks like, I might bring a puffy, but it's going to be overkill for this trip. So in the mornings and at night, it will get chilly. So over top of my base layer, I just have this Amazon zip up fleece. I like zip up because if it does start to get warm, you get more breathable space. So this is also finding a spot in the bottom. One thing I should mention, a lot of people have a waterproof bag, and any of their sleeping pad, tent, clothes, things that don't come in a waterproof bag, they'll put this in, and it essentially works as a liner. So that is an option that you can do. This is just a garbage bag. It will mold nicely so that everything can squish inside there. I'm not going to pack it this way because there's not a ton of rain in the forecast, but that is an option. Sometimes I do shove a garbage bag just in the bottom as kind of an emergency if it does start raining, but I rely on my rain cover, which I'll show you in a minute. So for the tent, I use the MSR Hubba NX 2-person. It weighs 3 pounds 8 ounces. I want to be the person that can have the poles on the outside of the tent and shove the actual tent inside my bag, but I like it on the outside. I'll do that at the very end and show you, but it is an option if you have more compact gear and you can fit it in there. It's best to have it inside the bag. The footprint, however, is very small, so we're going to put that again at the bottom, squish it into any of the open corners. This is my sleeping pad. It's the Nemo Tensor Insulated Regular. I love this guy. It's good for some of my colder winter trips, so I wanted one that I could use all year round. So it's lightweight, and I'm gonna put it towards the front of the pack because I want to save room for heavier stuff like my jet boil and food towards the back. This is the Nemo Fillo Elite pillow. It packs up really small and is comfortable. It has a washable outside and it doesn't feel like an air pillow, but this was a great luxury investment, and it helps you sleep at night. It's gonna help your energy on the hike out if you are doing multiple days, and it's so tiny. This is my toiletry bag. I just keep it in a freezer bag. So inside I have small hairbrush, baby wipes. I don't bring deodorant, so these are great. I still have to take care of my skin and get the sweat off in the sunscreen, or else I will break out. I have really sensitive skin, so I use a small micellar water and a reusable cotton swab. I also bring a small toothpaste, and this pocket soap is something new that I've picked up. It comes in little sleeves, and then you just get them wet and they lather like soap. They are biodegradable, but you do have to use them far away from water sources, as you would with cleaning dishes or water waste. Speaking of dishes, you can wash dishes with this as well. It's an all-purpose soap. Now on to the food. If you are in bear country, it is so important that you know the regulations. If you have to have a bear bin, then you have to. Some places you are able to get away with a bag. You want to have something that's rodent resistant, and so that you can tie it up into a tree. I bring this small rope that I'll keep in my food bag. Coffee, I recently picked up one of these pour overs, and then you just keep the garbage of the filter and the grinds in your garbage bag. I use a Ziploc as my garbage. Another option is to use instant coffee, or they have these cool little pour over coffee. So they open up and essentially they're like a disposable, compostable that you have to pack out still, but coffee maker. For this trip I'm going to go with this because I'm running low on these guys. So I'll usually pack a sandwich for my lunch that I'll eat on the first day. I'll keep my snacks out of this food bag because I want them accessible. For dinner, I'll either bring a dehydrated meal or Mr. Noodles with added nutrients such as like tuna and nutritional yeast. But this trip, I'm going to go with the dehydrated pack because it's going to be a lot more kilometers and I need more calories. Oatmeal in a small dasher bag for breakfast. And of course, the long sport. It really helps not get your fingers dirty when you're digging in. This one's just from Amazon. So to hang it in the tree, I will tie it up like this, put a rope around it, and fling it over. I do have some plans to hike on some trails that do require a bear bin this summer, so I will be picking one of those up. Let me know if you guys are interested in making a video on how to store food in bear country. So that is going to go closer to my back because it weighs a little bit more, and I use the jet oil Minimo. It's worked great. I keep a small canister of butane. I just wrap it in a cloth. I'm usually just boiling water inside of this. If you do keep your canister in there, the actual stove part of the jet boil doesn't fit, so that just goes right on top. I do bring a lighter and I wrap it in Leuco tape. So normally it's actually in my first aid kit. Leuco tape is what I use instead of band-aids. It looks like this in full form, but I'm obviously not going to bring the whole roll. It stays on with any moisture, sweat, rain for multiple days. I wear the same piece on the back of my heels. I actually use it more preventative. If you do already have an open blister, it's great to use a little bit of toilet paper over the wound part, and then this is... I find the jet oil to be a little bit heavier, so I'll keep that right at the spine at the back of the bag. The last piece of clothing I bring is a rain jacket. You want that on the top so that's accessible if it does start raining at the last second. Got this buckle at the top to keep it nice and tight, and that way again it's going to stay close to your back and help your center of gravity. So this is the brain. It is detachable, but I usually always bring it because I like having separate compartments. The rain cover is in here. I've hiked in rain with this guy. It does keep my bag warm. It's been compact enough where this fits over it, so this has worked great for me. You want it again so it's accessible if it does start raining out of nowhere. This is my portable charger. I use my phone as my map system, and I also record these YouTube videos, so I need a charging device. I always bring a cord that charges my phone and then one that charges my headlamp. This is my first aid kit. This will be super accessible in the brain. You don't want to put your first aid kit in the middle of your bag in case you do get hurt and you need someone to get it for you, or you need to access it quickly. And my headlamp, this guy is just from Amazon, but it has so many settings and works great. It comes in a 2-pack. I actually highly recommend this, and it lasts a long time. Actually, since I have so much room in my bag, I'm gonna shove my GSI mug inside. It's super light. Sometimes I'll have it hanging off my bag if it's a little wet from just washing it out, but let's put it inside. We are almost done. This top part of the brain is stuff that I access frequently throughout the hike. So snacks, dates, and a protein bar. Water filter, you always want this within reach. So I'll usually bring a Nalgene and a water filter in addition to my water reservoir. I'm going to put my sunscreen up here so that I can reapply throughout the day. Oh, something I forgot to put up top is bug spray. I won't always bring this, but I do like to have bug spray if I know it's mosquito season and it's going to be really bad. I love this front shove pocket. Camp slippers. This is my toilet kit. So inside of here I have an extra baggie. If I'm using toilet paper, I will pack it out inside this bag so it stays in there, as well as with the trowel. This is a Kula cloth. You may have heard of it, but it's a reusable, essentially wipe for ladies, and it's really great for while you're hiking and quick stops. So I will put that on a little carabiner on the outside. So normally I will put my sit pad on the outside, but since I packed sandals this time, I'm going to keep it right here and just close that up. That way it's accessible still, it's not inside my bag. So if we do stop and have snacks or videos, which happens often, it is easily accessible. And I'm going to put my tent poles side as well. This is a double buckle strapping system. It's super secure in there. My hat I'm usually wearing. This tripod is great for hikes. It's really compact and I always keep that on the outside. I always, on the hip belt, keep my phone in one. Tissues, for some reason I need those while I'm hiking. And chapstick, always. For my tent, I just lay it flat like this, get the straps out, and strap it onto the outside. I put it through my belt loop here. This is everything you need to solo hike in the mountains. If I am bringing my dog, I do have more stuff to add to this for him. I have a separate video on all the gear and everything I pack for him in the winter. It's pretty similar to the summer, just a lot less jackets. I plan on doing a lot more gear reviews and going into more depth of my sleeping pad and things like that and why I chose them. If this video helped you at all, give it a like, let me know in the comments, and we will see you next week.